Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, a very big welcome. Today I'm going to be testing out the Huda Beauty Nude eyeshadow palette for the second time. I have filmed the first impressions, but I hated the way it turned out and I just thought I can't put something out there that I absolutely hate. And in that video I had gone for a very heavy eyeshadow look. I probably will have a picture up on my Instagram despite not putting the video up so you guys can see which look I created. But I thought today I would do a bit of a simpler look, something that doesn't involve lashes, and I am doing a first impressions of two Pat McGrath products at the moment, so I'm hoping there's not going to be too much fallout because I'm reviewing the concealer and the under eye powder. But anyway, this is the Nude Palette. It's absolutely stunning to look at, and this was a birthday slash like wedding gift from one of my gorgeous friends, Shaharoon, and I got this last year, almost a year ago. Not had time to really bust this out properly and give it the love and care that it definitely does deserve. This is my first big Huda Beauty eyeshadow palette. I have got one of her mini ones, the Warm Brown Obsessions one, and I've got a review on that. I'll leave it down below. It's from a very long time ago, but you're welcome to check it out. And this is the nude one. So it comes with a lovely big mirror, and these are the shadows. So you can see it's a very nudey, pinky, girly eyeshadow palette is what I would describe it as. So there's no really deep shades in here, which in my opinion, if I was to take one eyeshadow palette with me on holiday, it wouldn't be this for that reason, if I could only take one. If I could take this and like a single shadow palette that I put together myself, I would definitely put a few more browns in there and like deeper shades as well. So I have options to like make a look a bit more smoky. Now you can go kind of smoky-ish, but it's difficult. So today I'm going to be testing out some of the shades that don't involve the two glitters, but there are some really interesting looking shades. Like this is Daydream here, this is Crave, this is Fantasy, and this is Charmed. These are all like her like marble-esque shades, and as you can see on the fingers they look beautiful. Let's swatch them. Oh, that's really pretty. That one has a really stunning duochrome iridescence. Well, that's got a pinky silvery tinge. Oh, and that is a very gorgeous bronzy shade. So her shimmery shades seem to have a very nice formula. Actually, I almost prefer these to the one that she has in her mini palette. I don't mind that, but it's not my favourite formula for shimmery shade. And her matte shades, what I found when I first tried this palette is that they kind of lack consistency. So I found Raw was quite hard to blend, and it is like the most deepest shade in there, but some of them were quite easy to blend. So I'm just going to get started. I'll just be pointing to the shadows, and if I've got anything to say I will stop the music, but be prepared to just listen to a little bit of music and just watch me try and do a simple-ish look. Let's see where this takes us. By the way, all my brushes that I'll be using are Morphe, apart from this one here. This is a Zoeva brush. It's a really good one for like detail work and for lower lash line work. And this one here is actually an e.l.f. one. This is the e.l.f. detailed crease brush, which again I really recommend, because if you've got smaller eyes or like less lid space or slightly hooded eyes like I have, brushes like these are essential. But anyway, let's get started. Guys, this is the first time I've used the Teddy shade, and it's so pretty. I don't have a shade like this in my collection. It's like a cross between brown and pink, and it's gorgeous. Now ideally there should be a shade in between Teddy and Raw, which you could use to sort of add a bit more smoke but not too much, because Raw is the deepest shade in this palette. Let's use a little bit of this. The trick is definitely to add a little bit and then blend it out when it comes to this shade in particular. Okay, so far not so bad. Right, let's go in with, I'm going to use a tiny bit of Tickle. And then I'm going to go in with the shade Kinky on the same brush. Oh, that's beautiful. That's so pretty. Just coming back a bit, so hopefully you can see the depth. I'm going to blend the edges. I really like Teddy as a transition shade, guys. I think it's perfect for like olivey skin tones. Because sometimes transition shades can be too light. Like Play, I used that when I first used this palette. And it was fine. It just wasn't the best. It's definitely for a lighter skin tone. Whereas Teddy is like a very ideal transition shade. Now this palette has a concealed thing here, and basically it's like a little cream concealer in the palette, which I love. My Raw Techniques concealer brush. I'm just going to use it to half cut my crease. Now I always do this where I go too high with the concealer, so I'm just going to take a little bit of the Teddy shade over the top here. And this still has some of that Kinky shade as well. I just imagine that my eyelids are bigger than they are, really. Now I think I'm going to use the shade, the second shade, which is Crave. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. I'm using that straight over the concealer. And actually, considering it's like very sparkly, it's not looking too bad at all. Now because I am doing a under eye concealer review, I'm just going to take a very, very simple one shade under the lower lash line, and that is going to be Teddy. And I'm going to try and be as close to the lower lash line as possible. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just try and blend out my edges a bit more. I'm going to take some of that Bare shade and put it on the brow bone again. I feel like this shade could be a lot more pigmented, but the rest of the eyeshadows actually worked really well today. I am impressed. Okay, I'm going to do my liner and mascara, and I basically just wanted to chat about my second impressions, and I'm glad that I've been able to use this twice before I could talk about it on camera, because I did a very dramatic glittery look using the glitter before, and now I've come up with this more simpler look. This obviously is still fairly dramatic for day to day, but it's not got any glitter, but it's still very, very pink. And that's the first thing I kind of want to say, is that if you don't enjoy wearing pink, if you don't enjoy wearing like warmer, pinkier, girlier, lighter tones, there is no point in buying this palette, because that's the main look you're going to get out of it. And yes, you can see on my hand there is some bronzers there as well, and some lighter shades, but even they are kind of leaning on the pink side. So I would say you have to be a pink enthusiast to really enjoy this palette and end up using it and wearing it. Will I be wearing it and using it? Yes, I think I will, because I think that these colours and these tones are very complementary to my skin tone, my olive warm skin tone, and I love warm shadows anyway. I really, I know I didn't use them in this video, but I really enjoyed the glitters, because they pack on really well after you've done a couple of layers with your fingers. And even this shade here, this is Crave, it's just such a pretty iridescent shade with like little bits of glitter in it that are duochrome and quite unique to my collection. I do have duochrome shades, but not with like sparkles like this. I also love how she's given us a concealed shade here. I think that's really helpful, especially if you are traveling and you don't want to use like your more expensive concealer to cut your crease or add some space into your eyelids. This is a really handy addition. The sort of criticisms that I have is, I think Bare, although it looks decently pigmented. Maybe because I've got quite pigmented eyelids, or even with concealer on, I just don't feel like it's a strong enough colour. Like even now I feel like you can hardly see my brow bone highlight, and there's not really a good highlighting shade that's not too sparkly, because I only would use like a sparkly highlighting shade on a wedding. Otherwise I'd want something a bit more matte. There's a few shades I've not used yet, like Lace, Secret, Tease. I've not used those. I've not used Love Bite yet, or Fantasy, but I really love the shade Teddy. It's beautiful, and I like the shade Kinky as well, and I think that these sparkly shades that I've swatched are gorgeous. So overall, would I say is worth the price tag, which I'll leave here? Yes and no. I love having this in my collection. I definitely will get use out of it because I have this in my collection, but am I gonna rush out and buy her other palettes? No. And the reason for that is because I have enough eyeshadows in my collection. I have so many single shadows. I have a fair amount of eyeshadow palettes as well, so I don't need to keep buying and buying and buying. Overall, I would probably give this about a 7 out of 10. To improve the nude palette, and this is the new nude, so she actually had an older version of this and this is her new version, but if I could have a part 3, I would definitely have some deeper shades, some more warm blending shades in there. I would make this shade slightly more of a satin finish and much brighter, so it's more versatile. Other than that, the shade selection is really nice. I like the packaging. I love the big mirror in here. It's so helpful for traveling. It's not too heavy, but like I said, if I was like going on like a 3-day break away to a European country, which right now with lockdown it's not going to happen, but you know, in the future if I was, I wouldn't reach for this palette because it's too big. That's my first impression or second impressions and kind of review for you all. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys think of the palette. Do you own any of her bigger palettes or her little palettes? Have you got any favourites? I would love to know what they are down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then hit thumbs up, click subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.